In this video, we are going to learn about the getters and setters methods. In our IDE, we have our class called computer with different data items, which we call fields defined inside. Those fields are RAM, GPU, hard disk, motherboard, and processor. If you think about it, those are some of the defining elements of a computer. Notice that I have added a strange looking keyword here, called private. This is actually called an access modifier, but we don't need to worry about this as of now, as I plan to have a different video dedicated to this topic. However, I need to add some context as to why this is important in the context of getters and setters. In object-oriented programming, we have this concept of encapsulation. Encapsulation means hiding the properties of an object so that users cannot access them directly. You may now ask, why is this important? Think about the following real-life scenario. You work inside a big bank and you created an app that naturally has many objects defined inside it. Your app is meant to store client information used to open and manage new client accounts. You deliver this newly created app to another team inside the bank, which is responsible for coding the processes for creating those new accounts. They need to make sure that the data you store inside your app is according to a predefined set of specifications. What if this new team will start accessing the data stored by your program and start modifying it by just invoking the properties of the classes? By just invoking the parameters of the objects you defined? This should not happen. That's why we use this keyword private, to not allow other users of the application to change those properties that are marked as private directly. But what happens if other users or systems need to retrieve this data? For that, we use the getter functions. A getter is a simple method that is usually called get and the name of the property. In our case, we can add a method called getRAM, getMotherboard, getGPU, and the list continues. Essentially, this get method will return the value that is behind this property. So we need to return this dot and the name of the property. But here's another new keyword called this. This video is actually full of new keywords, but don't worry, this one is really easy. This only refers to the object we are dealing with. So when you see this dot and the name in a class, it means it will refer to the property of that specific instance of an object. Enough with the getters. Let's also talk about the setters. The setters are used whenever we want to set a new value to a specific property. Unlike getters, setters don't have to return anything. They just need to call this dot and the name of the property equals to the value supplied as an argument to this method. Let me delete those getters and setters and let me show you a shortcut for defining those in IntelliJ. If you go to Code, Generate Getters and Setters, and select all the available properties, you will see that the IDE will generate all the getters and setters for you. That's it for this video. Getters and setters are really easy concepts to understand, but I still encourage you to download the code attached to the description of this video and try playing with them yourself. Until next time, I wish you happy coding!